And welcome to the Vehicle Designer and to a slightly updated Hey Bennu. This is, of course, from the depths, and if you are joining me directly from the campaign episode, I believe episode 4, then welcome. I'm glad you decided to stop by and see what I was going to do to change this. And if you're just browsing through my From the Depths videos, well, I shall leave an annotation on the screen right about now, so you can go across to the campaign and see where I was deciding to make all of these changes from, as we are going to be addressing some issues that we've seen the Hey Bennu encounter in its most recent and, in fact, first combat. Now, of course, I'm going to answer the obvious question, wow, lots of things have changed. Yes, generally monkey work, though, in that I was just repainting, stripping out parts that I knew I was going to strip out. As I mentioned, we got rid of the superfluous basic weapon systems there. I have added shields, and in retrospect, I should probably have kept you here for that. But again, there was just a lot of settings messing around with, basically. I'll quickly show you what the settings are for these shields. Can I see you and interact with you at all, maybe? There we are. So here we are. We've got 10 strength, obviously, reflect, and we've got... these settings aren't actually that important, but take a long time to get right, which is probably why it is best that I keep the shield setting up off camera. But we've got 4 shield systems. These two protect the missile bays, this one protects the nose of the ship, and this one protects the all-important bridge. Also, speaking about the bridge, we have a door, and inside the door we have a not sticking my head through the ceiling bridge. It's still a tiny, it's basically a broom closet of a bridge, but it's my bridge and I love it so. So there we are. Those are the primary changes that I've done off camera. I have slightly improved the efficiency of the engine, but I have not changed the engine's shape. That is, it still occupies more or less the same space that it had before. I've added a little bit on the sides, actually. These 6 fuel tanks on the sides are the only real things that I've changed. Everything else has just been improving the efficiency of the overall design. I noticed we had a lot of power, we just flat out weren't using it, and though I've got an idea for how we might use it, I thought shields were a good idea. We did take some damage from... cannon fire, I believe, or certainly there's going to be a potential for that in the future. So having a few shields, you know, it's not completely coating the thing in shields, but it's enough. Also, I extended the missile system. I just smartened them up down here so that they all had plenty of room for their ejection boosters, and the length of the missiles has changed as a result. But the missiles are the first thing I want to address in this episode. Right now, we have large missiles, and whilst I like the idea of infrared guided missiles, so they can guide themselves, and even if the missile controller at the ship gets damaged after the missile's been launched, it doesn't matter. It can still make its own way to its target. But when we look at this, I'm using 3 components for this. Infrared seeker, camera for infrared seekers, and 1 turn. That means 2 whole missile blocks, with 1 space on the second missile block, are used just for the guidance system, whereas I could use that all with 1 laser designator. Now, the issue with that is I am very concerned for a ship with such a low profile, whether that's going to cause it to have issues playing with others. So if it's in the heart of a fleet, is it going to end up constantly targeting its own ships with the designator beam? I saw it happen with the Kunanun, and the Kunanun were very tall ships which could designate over the top of many of the smaller ships. With the Hey Bennu, with this very, very low profile, I am quite concerned. So we might need to think of some interesting ways of trying to address that. And I've got one idea. But to start with, we are going to switch this over, for the time being, to a laser designator receiver. Now, just to address something I have been mentioning in previous episodes, or in reply to comments more to the point, I would like to move this system to me just designing a hull in the Vehicle Designer, and then all of the weapon systems are designed in campaign. But since I'd already started with this particular ship in this way, I'm going to finish this ship to the point that I'm happy with it, and then I'm going to upload it to the workshop using the Vehicle Designer where necessary. Because this is going to be a large bit of building here. It's not going to just be a small little bit of tweaking. But for future vessels, the hull itself will be designed in the Vehicle Designer with specific weapon hard points. And then when I spawn a copy of that hull, which will be named. So, for example, I've gotten quite a few recommendations for names, and one particularly received a lot of support from other dapperlings. So we're probably going to be going with that one. It was suggested twice independently, and then several people seconded and thirded each instance of that suggestion. But we'll name the hull that way, so I'll be picking a name specifically, and generally it'll probably... I'm thinking we'll stick with the mythological theme. I really like the mythological theme for the naming of the ships. But then each ship will be christened, each instance of that hull will be christened in the main campaign based on the master name list. So I'll just be taking the name of someone who's put their name down to be named, have something named after them. But there we are, we're going to go with this. So short range thruster, enough fuel tanks to reach about 1,000 blocks, 2 fins, and a lot of explosive wallop. So we're going to save that one as the Wasp Mark 1. Now, I've got a Eel Mark 1 there. That is a torpedo design I've been playing around with, but I'm going to just save over that, and we're going to call that S2 like the others, so I know that it's not one that I've designed on camera, and thus I need to redesign it completely. So we'll leave that one as 6 blocks. In fact, I've just saved the Wasp over it, but there we go. Now, let's make sure that that has been applied. Ooh, wait, there was one more thing I wanted to do, wasn't there? Yes, there was. We wanted to delay this to 1.5 seconds, so that'll give it enough time to get shunted out of the tube by the launch ejectors, and then its engines will kick in. So we're going to assign that to everything and then save over the Wasp Mark 1. So there we go. Our missile system is complete. Now, of course, that means we need to add a couple of things down here to help with designating. Now, the obvious place to put these would be the pontoons, and I am liking that idea, I must confess, but we're going to need something at the front, I think, as well, especially with what I was just saying about the possibility that it'll designate its allies. So I think having maybe something deep down. Now, I'm not sure how this is going to work with the water, I'll be honest with you, and that does worry me, but I'm thinking we're going to have something buried down here, yes. So let's just build this up and then out. Now, my hope, my sincerest hope, is that this will work okay. We'll paint these ones since they're bordering and you might be able to see them through the outside of the hull. But that this will allow it to designate things, at least things in front of it, underneath its allied ships. I'm really not sure. I am very, very concerned about this, as you can probably tell. But we'll just have to see how this goes for now. This is the best I can do to try and help this ship. There we go. So that's a little designator at the front for trying to designate distant forward targets. I could possibly bring that all the way up top as well and have one on the top, but honestly, since I'm going to be having ones on the pontoons, I'm not sure that that's necessary. Right, let's go ahead and add a mirror line in there. Now we want to get back down here and select you. Now, where do we want to bring this up? I'm thinking about here, honestly. If we can bring this up and then across, we should be in a good position. So we're going to replace that. And we're immediately going to fix that hole that we've just created. There we are. And go back to this. And there we go. Now we should be able to just bring this straight up like so without breaking anything. And then out, I think. We've just broken something. Damn it. Well, I knew I was going to break things there, I suppose. Alright, 2 on that side. That'll mean there'll be 1 on this side. And likewise, 1... 1, 2. There we are. And you know what? Let's build that out on that side. Because we are going to be taking these out. However, we do want these to be colored black at this point. Because it is going to be on the outside of the ship. Can we see that one? Yes, we can. So that means this one also needs to be changed. Is that alright? Yes. Alright, now, we've got this over here, and I'm thinking... let's see... Unfortunately, to keep this symmetrical, I'll need some more wood blocks on this side as well. Oh well. In our quest for symmetry, No price is too high. We're going to bring that all the way out down there, and the same on this side. I mean, this is the most obvious place that I can see for us to add these. So we'll bring that out down there as well. Get rid of you. And down here as well. Get rid of you. And we're probably going to want one or two maybe on the sides here, I'm thinking. That's going to break this, isn't it? Yes, yes it is. Let's go ahead and get some wood blocks. Well, you know what? We probably don't need these ones, so let's just pop those off completely. And pop those ones off completely as well. Right, so we've got the right color, I believe. Get that. We'll add one there and one there as well. Then we'll just grab some wooden blocks. So this is going to give us our laser designators kind of on the surface, if you like. We don't have to worry too much about this being right next to this, but at the same time, it would probably be best if that were tucked away so that this could angle itself in that direction if it needed to. So, what I'm thinking of doing, we're going to grab this, bring that down a little bit, and possibly get rid of you. Have two there. Now, I want them in that particular orientation because if they're facing back or facing the sides, it causes them to act in a different way. These ones are only concerned with the pitch left and right. Whereas, or the roll, if you like. I believe the roll is the correct term for that. Whereas these ones are the pitch, so whether it's tipping forward or tipping back. So you do want the two orientations. They do actually have a difference from what I understand. So it's important to try and preserve that where you can. And on this side, in exactly the same way. There we are. And grab you. There we go. Right, now all that remains is the laser designators themselves, the laser emitters. We've got one down there. I'm thinking we'll go ahead and have this have no color here because I do prefer it for the functional cubes that I might want to interact with in the future to have the correct coloring to really stand out for me. Of course, if you don't like that, and you do happen to download this off the workshop when I put it up there, you can of course just paint that and it'll look fine. In fact, you could probably even build that out a little bit by having blocks on either side. But I'm just going to leave them sticking out like that, so it's a little bit easier for us to designate things. With that much designation, if this is on its own, then it should have no problems leading its missiles to their targets. Now, the next question is, and this is the big one, we've currently got about 1,000 power we can play with. Oh, you know what? Man, I'm so terribly sorry, everyone. Everyone asked me to do this, and I completely forgot. I'm just so not used to using the vehicle design. I apologize wholeheartedly. A couple of people mentioned that they were getting almost a bit of seasickness from the bobbing of the boat while I was just building. So if I hit caps lock whilst in build mode, it'll just lift it up out of the water so that it isn't bobbing back and forth. Also, it makes it much easier to build at the bottom of the ship as well, which is actually really useful. But again, I do apologize for forgetting that for so long. I will get used to using the vehicle designer eventually, I'm sure. Now, the big thing here is I would like very much to have a laser defense system. Unfortunately, I don't yet have the means to build those. I haven't unlocked the laser defense component, but with that in mind, it shouldn't be a problem if I build the laser system where it needs to go. And where it needs to go is going to be down here on either side. Now, I'm not sure how far out I'm going to take it on either side, but this is roughly where we're going to want it. And again, I would say something like this. If we take these two away and have a... Let's go to lasers. We want a laser connector right there. And... I'm fairly certain this will work, but don't quote me on it. A laser transceiver there. Now this would fire its laser along this path. Now it'll fire it through the blocks as well. So you know what? How about we make it look nice by grabbing some glass. Glass blocks. Make sure it's colored black. Lock it in position. There we are. And same down here. Does that look alright? Yes, it does. Fantastic. Then we just get rid of these, have another laser connector. Now I'm basically building this for the future. That does mean that there's a fantastically good chance I'll get it wrong. I mean, a truly awesome chance that I'm going to build this in the wrong way. However, I quite like the idea that I've got going at the moment in my mind. We are going to want a multi-purpose laser block, and this will feed... Oh, it's black. No, we don't want that. Well, actually, we could do with it... No, it's going to be the normal color because otherwise I won't be able to pick it out. But what we'll do to protect it, or just to make it look a bit better, is add that block there on the outside. And same on this one as well. There we go. So we've extended that out a little bit. Now, the idea is the laser chamber will be down here, moving along this area, and feeding into that laser there. So I've cleared out the space here so that I can have the laser pumps. This will all feed into this multi-purpose laser block, which will then in turn feed into this laser over here, which will power my... Actually, you know what? Let's color these. Which will power my laser defenses, which will be on the top. So color replace mode. Boom, boom. I think that will be glorious. We could, in fact, have this maybe moving underneath on this one block, and I think it would be worth doing for this reason. Let's go pop that in there. Then have this black again and drawn out. Yeah, we'll sink that into the ship. There we go. Then we're going to go back to the main color, wood blocks. Oops, a daisy. What did I do there? Oh, that was a 4-meter beam. There we go. Right, the reason I've done that is primarily so I can do this. I just place that there. Then all is well. Pull this down. Don't need it. In fact, we'll just put a wooden block up there. Right, there we are. Now, what we can do down here is... You know what, I'm starting to think that maybe it would be better if I just connected all these up, because I'm going to have lasers down here anyway. So we don't really want that to be exposed, in a way. Let's go ahead with the laser connectors. Oops, no, yes, no, maybe? Yes. And then the laser transceivers. One there, and one there as well. Now, the idea here is I'm going to be able to have 3 different points for the laser defense. So the missile defense. One at the top, one over there, and one on the far side over yonder. What I would like here, though, is possibly to move these over instead. So that these connect up on this side instead, and then all of this can just be glass. There we are. That looks perfect to me. And it gives us a nice little laser light show. I'm really glad that I thought about pushing the laser through glass blocks, because I think it looks awesome. Here's me blowing my own trumpet. Oops, no. That's not what we want. And I do realize that I'm building 2 laser systems with this, but there is a bit of method to that madness, in that by doing this, if one pontoon on one side gets knocked out, then we're not going to lose our laser defense capabilities. Not entirely. We're going to want these along there on either side, I would say. Can we then bring it across? We kind of can, actually, yes. On that side, at the very least. On this side, not so. There we go. Right, now this will have a cavity for the laser pumps. Because the pump itself is going to go right about here. So we want a laser coupler. Right there. Again, we want this to actually be coloured with nothing. Now, we're only going to be able to fit a few Q switches on this, which is a bit of a shame. But we're not going to be able to fit all of them. But we will be able to fit a couple, because we can go behind as well, you see. And then on this side, but only 3, unfortunately. That means our missile defense is going to be a little bit less awesome, I guess. But, well, we could put one there. But no, I'd rather keep the aesthetic there, rather than go for the... I know, terrible. But rather than go for the actual Q switch, I know that is so bad of me. I sympathize with the pain that you are experiencing watching me make such silly decisions. Right. Now, we don't want a laser combiner. Because we're not actually going to be using the laser as a weapon. This is purely here to function as our defense system. So, the next thing is we want the laser cavity. We can have a frequency doubler. In fact, we can push this out quite far. I will lock that in. In fact, let's just bring this all... Ooh, bad planning was bad. Okay, I'll have to address that. We'll draw this out about as far as this. Grab you. We want color picker for this to be red, I think. Yes. And then all the way down here. Same on this side. Ah, no, Q switch. Well. Don't worry, don't cry. It's okay. It's alright. I'm not doing what you think I'm doing. I'm moving things around, okay? I'm not that crazy. I'm crazy. Not that crazy, though. And we want a laser connector. Ha! I bet you all thought I was going to sacrifice even more of my laser defense system for aesthetics. It was close. I will admit there was a temptation there for a few fractions of a second. But no, I resisted it. I hope you're all proud. But there we go. And I'm only having those frequency doublers there for just the time being whilst I build everything else, and then I'll pad them out. But it looks like we're going down even further. I'm not sure I like that, though. I'm really not sure about that one. In fact, I'm so not sure about that I'm almost tempted to have that go back up along the top again. I mean, I guess there's nothing particularly wrong with this, but it feels weird doing it this way. But okay, let's go back to color picker. We want this coming through there, then going back to black along the way until we meet up there. Oh, I really don't know about that. This is really testing my dedication to aesthetics at this point. I think as pretty as it is up here, no. I'm really thinking that we are just going to have to connect it through here instead. I mean, because if I put it there, well, no, I'm gonna try and resist. We're gonna go with this. Damn it! Part of me is very upset with myself right now. Right, okay, we'll do that across there. We'll have some sort of slope down here or something to make it look a little bit nicer, I think. But for now, this will have to do. So these can go away, because they're not particularly good armor. They're not any sort of armor, really. Alright, grab you. We want you to be the right color. There we go. Alright. So this is my laser system. Now, without a laser combiner, I actually don't know what kind of power this has. So I'm just going to put the laser combiner up here for the time being. Oh, actually... Oh, no, never mind. I don't need the laser combiner. I'm making up stories right now. I do apologize. Actually, point it that way. Right, okay. Laser cavity. We want the cavity itself for a good couple of blocks. 6 blocks. And again, I've used the wrong color. But we'll just use color replace mode for this one. There we are. Right, we want some pumps on this. Oops. Make sure we're on the right color still. And then the laser cavity pumps. Oh, you get... It's drawn a lot of power to pump this thing full of juice. Okay, on this side then. And once again. When these things start kicking in, this is going to cause a whole lot of noise. You know, maybe I really don't need that much power. We'll see how far this can go out. It's only got a... Oh, wait. This should be Q switched. Why is this... Oh, no. Pulse laser damage. Range of 1,000. Armor piercing of 13. That's going to change. And down here. There we go. And then up the top as well. There we are. So this is going to give us a decent bit of wallop with this. It'll fill up quite quickly. Then we want to alternate the laser destabilizers. Well, we don't necessarily want to, but we're going to. A good bit of damage. Quite a long range. Now we could fill this up with cavities again. Or not. Well, we don't actually have that much power to play with. So I'm thinking I'm basically wasting resources doing this. But we'll see. Right, we've got pulse level down of 332, a range of 3,256. We're going to add a crazy amount more pumps. And then this system will be ready to intercept missiles as soon as I've got the means to do so. There we are. And we'll drive this down there as well. Oops. One too many. That is meant to be a frequency doubler. Where are you? There we are. There we go. And that is our laser system complete. Now, I suppose if I really wanted to, I could add an upwards facing laser or even a laser turret over here, because this is a reasonably powerful weapon. But I can't imagine it's going to be able to sustain its fire for very long. At all. And there's no real way for me to test this. Outside of adding a laser weapon. But we'll leave it room to grow, I guess. I don't know. I mean, eventually we might even extend this hull back a little bit to give more room for a much larger engine. It's certainly a possibility. Or just simply optimize this engine further. There's a lot we could do with this engine. We could even move the missile control to the very front of the vessel, giving us even more room at the front to, here to extend the engine. And even a small extension to this engine equates to an awful lot of additional power. So, you know, there's a lot of things we can do. But until I can actually add the laser defense components, we're just going to have to imagine they're there and pay a lot of money to keep rebuilding it when it gets broken. But for now, we're done with this, I think. It looks good. I'm actually really happy with the way this ship looks. In fact, let's sink it down. Come out of build mode. And move back a little bit. And also put you into combat AI. See how you move around. Oh, you're reversing. Very well. I don't really mind what you do, as long as you do something. But yes, I do like the way it looks, and I'm hoping that its weapon system at this point is going to be able to designate targets a little bit better, a little bit more efficiently. Certainly those missiles are crazy powerful compared to the old ones. But I am concerned that I've put far too much power into this laser system, honestly. Way, way too much power, because I've got 2 of them at the end of the day. If this was one long laser system, why are you breaking the raft? I just don't understand. But I think we're good with that for now. So I'm going to jump straight over to the campaign. We are going to build up a version of this and take this out, maybe 2 of these, out to play with the enemy. But before we go anywhere, it is time that I properly name this hull. It is not going to be the Heb Enu anymore. It is instead going to be the Sobek. I believe I've spent that correctly. This is the Egyptian crocodile god. It was suggested, again, by quite a few people independently, and then a lot of people got on board with the idea. So I quite like it. I'm not really sure that this ship resembles a crocodile in any way, but I'm okay with naming something after an Egyptian crocodile god. Anything, really. It sounds like a pretty awesome name to me. So there we go. The Sobek has been born. So there we are. Now if we have a look at the load vehicle, the Sobek version 5 is there. The Heb Enu version 4 can go. Oh, actually, did that work? No? Do I have to... Oh, yes, I have to... Oh, 4 steps. Oh, wow. Really? It's like, are you really, really, really sure that you want to delete this? Yes. Yes, I am. If I've made a mistake, then I'm going to live by that mistake. But I shall be jumping back over to the campaign now, and hopefully you will be joining me. Again, I'll drop another annotation on the screen so that you can, if that is your desire. But that is it from me in the Vehicle Designer. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and will be joining me for the next. But until then, and as always, do take care.